Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Pat. Boy, have we got a special guest today. Pat, who have we got on the hook today?
Oh my God, we finally cornered the Airgun Angie.
Oh my gosh.
So excited.
Yes. If you've been on the East Coast, you know she is a stalwart competitor. Even though she's been on the wrong side of the learning curve for the slug game, we're going to try and help her get her A game, and she's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the very near future. So big expectations from Airgun Angie. And we want to take a minute and remember the people who make this podcast possible. And Pat, who have we got here today?
Oh, well, first off, we got Predator International.
Yes.
And JSB. Also, I'm wearing the infamous
the Lord of Lead, because he will get your projectile situation straight.
Yes, he will. Palm Beach Airguns in the house wearing their shirt today.
Yeah. Yep, always. Very good. Very good.
We got the infamous Donnie FL.
Yes.
And our best friend up there in Michigan. Finally, it's warm up there. Tom over at High Pressure Pneumatics and his team.
Excellent. So we've got 2 brick and mortars and 2 industry long-termers that have just been supporting the podcast for a very long time. Big thank you to all of them.
Definitely great places to go, great people.
Yeah.
So, Bill, what you been up to?
Well, Pat, I've been up to all manner of tomfoolery in the airgun world recently. As you have been intimately aware, because you've largely been my source for parts, I'm building 2 really outstanding guns for the 2025 season. One of them, I'm actually focused on the field target event at the PA Cup coming up that I'm registered for as a team shooter for Palm Beach Air, which is an honor I will never undermine. That is a big deal to me to be wearing their shirt, and I'm trying to put together the best FX gun I can. Now, I didn't choose FX because I thought it was a brilliant field target gun. I'm trying to make my FX a brilliant field target gun. And the reason I say that is because, if you really want to be competitive in field target, you really need a gun that shoots 177 well. And a lot of the newer evolutions of the FX barrel system have kind of struggled in 177. They haven't been standouts. And I think a lot of the industry is beginning to kind of not focus on 177. I know when I talk to Pat about it, his eyes gloss over and he has no idea what the hell I'm talking about. I'm like, no, Pat, the little bitty pellets, I need to shoot those. But, we've got match directors out here who have apertures on their field targets that are 1/4 inch.
Yep.
And if you're trying to thread a 22 pellet through a 1/4 inch hole, that's you got your work cut out for you. But 177 gives you a heck of a lot more wiggle room. Now it does get played with the wind, but anyway, back to this gun. This is Freya that I built 2 years ago for field target, and I had that just absolutely dreadful super light barrel on there. Now, super light is fine if you're just out chasing iguanas or you want a really light gun, but it is not a stable.
No,
a stable tube for getting those pellets where you want over time. Usually if I would sight it in, it would be good for, that day, but put it in a case, take it out. Or, like one time I had a tripod failure when I sat down at the line in a field target match. And when I went back on my butt, I smacked that barrel off of one of the steel columns on the range. I was done. It was over. I was like 3 inches off at 30 yards. I'm like, there is no way I'm going to re-get my dope in a match with that kind of an error. I'm like, it's insane. So what I've done is I've done the Pat hack. I call it the Pat hack because he clued me into it. I took the super light barrel out. I put a slug STX barrel assembly out of an impact in my crown. It's a Mark II. I then hunted down a liner to match that. So now it's 600 millimeters long. It's got a real FX pellet liner. And it is right now with nothing else, just that tube sticking out of there. It's half MOA. And I'm delighted with the accuracy I've gotten so far. Now there's one nuance that's coming up for that gun, Pat.
What's that?
I'm designing my own carbon fiber tension barrel assembly for that. And I actually bought the carbon fiber, but most carbon fiber that you find on Amazon, the tubes stop at 500 millimeters. And they don't pick up again until you hit 1,000 millimeters. And I had to get it from China. And with all of this nonsense going on with tariffs and all that, it's been sitting in the airport at LA since the 11th. I watched the tracking. It like got from China to here like that. But now it's been sitting in a cargo box in LA probably at LAX, and it hasn't moved since. So they're still within their target window that they promised it. But I'm sitting here waiting, like, come on. Yeah. I want to see what a tension barrel is going to do to this thing, because if it's anything like my Mark I Crown, it's going to be a really big game changer for that gun. So I've got my barrel thing sorted. I've got my accuracy sorted. The next thing to figure out is the scope. And I've been waffling back and forth on that. And I'm kind of leaning towards the Falcon right now. I know had you look at a couple of Athlon scopes, but right now I'm thinking the Falcon, that's what they make, is field target scopes.
Yep.
So, getting that kind of a nuance, and they talk about all the things I want to hear, like focus pop, like when you're dialing that wheel and you're getting that really crisp, clean articulation of the image, like bam, it's in focus right now. That's what you want. And that's called limited depth of field. And I'm hearing Tyler Patner's shooting one to great effect. And if you've ever shot against Tyler in field target, you've probably lost.
More than likely, yeah.
You're not going to beat that guy. The best thing you could do is share a podium with him. You would have credibility just doing that. But that's kind of where that is. And then I'm fighting the same thing that Airgun Angie is going to talk about here in a little bit. I got my butt kicked bringing a pellet gun to a slug event. So I've been trying to get my Mark II Impact much better at shooting slugs, and I'm very, very close. I'm like that far away. I now have a 1 in 16 twist, 800 millimeter tension barrel kit on my Impact. It is definitely coming together. I'm still working on getting a little bit more air out. I want to get that 70 grain slug up to about 920 feet per second. And I'm told when I reach that, it's going to be like in the video game when you finally beat the big boss, like all the are going to open.
All the fireworks and everything come out.
Yeah, the angels are going to sing and all that stuff's going to happen. So I'm really hoping that happens for me. So that's what I've been up to. What about you, Pat? What do you got going
on? Well, it's definitely iguana season down here in Florida. It's also getting hot, but iguanas are off the hook.
Nice.
Literally. Ended up getting a new account down here, and in like 15 minutes, it was like minute to win it, shot 20 iguanas using my AGT Vixen. Wow. 50, 60 yard shots. And it was about 225, 230 pounds of iguana. Filled that big 5-foot cooler that I had. But then there's a little twist because of the time of the year, Bill, that you haven't experienced yet. And it's alligator mating season. So
I'm not sure I want to mate with one of those, Pat. It sounds pretty dangerous.
No, but they are territorial buggers, man. I lost a couple iguanas to them already, but just got to be careful around the water. They're fairly obvious.
Don't shoot a podcast with your back to the water.
No, this would be a bad time.
Watch for alligators.
Yeah, definitely watch for alligators.
Don't do that.
Other than that, selling a lot of air guns at Palm Beach Air
Nice.
Guns.
Excellent. Excellent.
It's
That's so good to
absolutely
hear.
crazy. We were at the Florida Outdoor Expo. Everyone got to learn about us, and it has been nonstop. So new air gunners everywhere. All you guys that are new and subscribe to the channel, thank you guys. It's been busy. It's been busy. So
Nice.
other than that, just playing with stuff. Just playing with stuff.
Excellent.
So
well,
right.
Pat, we've got a very special guest this episode, and we are delighted to have her. And if you didn't hear who that was, here it is. It's on the screen right now. It is the one, the only Airgun Angie, and this is her website, which is where did I put that, Pat?
Let's see.
There we go.
Yeah. You know me in technology,
Yep,
Bill.
that's where she's at. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
let's go ahead and get her in here.
There she is.
Angie.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
No problem.
You looks like you're in the gun room.
I am. This is my shop / studio, workout center, everything.
That is perfect, Angie. You live in Nirvana right there.
Yep, I'd say this is my quiet place. I need to get away from the family for a little bit. Just come out here. I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, I'll give my husband the credit though. He built the room, so.
But you decorated?
Yep. I'm continuing to.
Excellent. I love it. So Angie, tell us a little bit about you and how you kind of got into the airgun world and where that all started and what's going on.
Well, it's kind of a crazy. I actually didn't grow up with guns or air guns or anything. I grew up in the outdoors. We did a lot of sports and fishing, camping, stuff like that. And I met my husband when I was 19 and he hunted. And so I started kind of going with him and seeing what that was all about and started hunting with him. And then eventually he said, "Hun, I'm going to retire and you need to find a job." And I said, I don't want to because I'm going to miss out on hunting. So Rick approached me and he said, "Hey, I know you love the outdoors. You love shooting. How about come and test some air guns for me and see how you like it?" So the only experience I had with air guns before that were my boys with their pellet guns in the backyard shooting squirrels and birds. And then he told me there's 45 caliber air guns that I can go hunt deer with. And I was like, "Oh, really?" Yeah. So that was kind of a baited hook and I bit. And I've been doing it ever since. I started in 2017. There's been good times. There's been frustrating times. There's, ups and downs and ins and outs, but I'm still here and I love it.
So we talked a little bit about this before, but tell us, what is your favorite thing to do with an air gun?
My favorite thing to hunt. I love hunting.
Now,
my next favorite.
What four-legged creature needs to fear Angie when she's got that hunting thing going on?
Most all of them, unless they're pets.
I was going to say all of them.
Yeah. If they're pets, cats, dogs, stuff like that, they don't have anything to worry about. And if it's not this season, which it seems that animals know when the hunting season is. Squirrels, they're all over the place when it's out of season. When season comes and I have my guns out, they're like, "Yep, not the right time to be hanging out with Angie right now."
Yeah, I can say that I'm spoiled having a predatory permit here on my farm. I can get around some of those restrictions on certain animals, but I hear you. I hear that the deer are particularly likely to catch a pellet from Airgun Angie.
Oh yes. That's one of my favorite seasons. I love deer hunting. It's where I started. Shooting and everything. It was deer hunting. Of course, I had to learn how to use a gun first. That's probably one of the most important things to do. But since I started there,
that's kind of important. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Yep. So and then my children, I have 3 children and all of them, it was a family affair. We all hunted together every opportunity we have. So they've all learned gun safety. They know how to operate them. I've had them in some of my videos sometimes, but now they're too old and too cool. So They don't like doing videos with me.
Too cool to be on the same camera as mom.
Yep, absolutely. I get it. I was like that one time too.
Got it. So are you a walk and stalk type hunter, or are you hanging out in the tree stand while it's still dark out, waiting for the woods to wake up? What is your game when you're deer hunting?
I'm a tree stand. Well, we here in South Carolina, we also run hounds. So we run deer with dogs. So I do that as well as tree stand, still hunting. So, I mean, trying to stalk a deer out here is, I'm sure somebody that's barefoot and has had some Indian training or whatever, they can get out there and do. I've actually heard of one guy that will run a deer down, and I'm like, I got to meet him. I gotta so meet him. But no, it's so thick out here that stalking one is just impossible. And the briars, the snakes, no, thank you. A tree stand is.
I used to work with a Marine. There's never an ex-Marine, right?
Right.
He was a Marine that didn't go into the Marine Corps anymore, but he used to hunt hogs. He would hang out in the tree. He'd find a limb over a trail, and he would just lay there with a knife and wait for the hog to come by. And he would drop down on the back of the hog and cut its throat. I'm like, dude, that's about as savage as you get. That would not be me, because I would land on that hog. I would end up with 2 broken ribs, pierced pancreas, and God knows what other injuries. And
a knife in your butt.
Yeah, the pig would win. Basically, what would happen there. But yeah, it's that is so cool, Angie, that you are out there in the woods and you are getting it done. Now, you've recently had a foray into some competition shooter. Now, in fact, we got to see Angie at the Headshots?
Headshots Invitational. Yeah, that was my very first one.
Yeah, we got to see you there, and I got my autographed copy of Airgun Hobbyist.
So did I.
Which, if you send Angie one, or maybe ask her really nice, you might be able to get one of those still. But if she's got any left. But
I have a few.
I would also like to recommend Airgun Hobbyist to our listeners, because it is one of the few, in fact, the only, I think, print for air gunners in the United States. Now, if you go to the UK, when I lived in the UK, I used to wait every month at the newsstand for all of the new airgun magazines to come out. And they were every bit as good as Sports Illustrated or anything else as far as writing and imaging and all of that. They were really, really good magazines. But that's not the case here. They don't get Guns and Ammo and American Rifleman, and we don't get really big glossy magazines. But Airgun Hobbyist does have minimal ads and maximum enjoyment for the airgun world. And Angie, I hear you're potentially doing some writing for them, or have done some. What's going on there?
I am. There's an article coming out in the summer edition, their hunting edition, and it's airgun hunting versus firearm hunting. So that's what I wrote about. It's already been sent in, and I think it turned out pretty good. So I mean, I do hunt with both. I hunt with firearms and air guns, and kind of mix it up a little bit. I'm not one or the other. I'm a little of both.
That'd be a good read, because it's literally 2 different types of hunting.
Oh yeah, and airgun hunting. I mean, just any hunting is a big learning experience. But I would liken airgun hunting to archery. You have to pinpoint. You have to be absolutely. You don't have the same expansion you do with firearms. So it definitely is something you got to learn. And there was a lot of, when I first started, I started hunting hogs with the TC45, the Gammo TC45, and I shot many of them and didn't recover them. And I was so frustrated. I would call Rick and say, I don't get this airgun hunting thing. What's going on? So, and most of the reason why I didn't recover them is because one, there wasn't a blood trail, and they'd run off into the forest, and there was just no telling where they went. Maybe I needed a hog dog or something. But eventually I decided, unless I can't, it's going in the head. And ever since I started taking headshots, they've been dropping in their tracks. So I love the headshots.
Good choice.
Headshots all the time.
Yep.
No,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was shooting for the vitals because I thought that was the best shot, but no,
That's
headshot.
what you were trained to do. I mean, that's hunter safety 101. They give you a little picture and they say, shoot here.
Yeah.
So you're actually a fan of the hammer nowadays, aren't you?
That is my favorite big bore air rifle. Absolutely favorite. It
Full
is
version or carbine?
the full. The carbine I honestly haven't had the greatest accuracy past 35 yards, and I hunt at 50. So I like the full version. That is my favorite.
Are you suppressed or not suppressed?
What's that?
Suppressed or not suppressed?
I'm not suppressed. So yeah.
She's going to be loud and you're going to know you're in the woods with Airgun Angie.
Well, I have like 4 other people that hunt around me, so I want them to know I just shot.
There you go.
Nice.
I got the big one, guys. You might as well go home.
Excellent. Yeah, people think that when you say air gun, they think it's that old Crossman 760 or the Daisy power line or something like that, and they just don't understand the kind of energy levels that are available today. And the story I always try to tell them is, at RMAC, we're up on the line for the big bore event. And Pat's friend up there in northern Florida, an absolutely incredible gun tuner, had built a really, really capable FX gun one year. And Ken had not a moderator on the end, but a muzzle brake. So all of that acoustic energy was coming right back at the line. It was taking the recoil away from him really good, but if you were anywhere near that bench when that gun went off, which he's shooting at 300 yards, I would jump out of my skin, because you're at an airgun event. You're not wearing any ear protection.
Right.
and bam, that thing would scare the living crap out of me. So, I don't know if you've ever considered one of those for your hammer, but I wouldn't recommend it for your neighbors, but for you, it might actually be kind of handy.
Yeah, it'd let everybody know even more.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, the fella that he has me come over on his property and kill his hogs because he's got a deer stand, but the hogs, I guess they don't know it's supposed to be deer corn. So there's a lot of hogs coming in there. And when he heard that I was killing them with air guns, he's like, "So you're going to come shoot him with your BB gun?" He couldn't believe that there was an air gun capable of killing hogs and deer and stuff. So the first time he invited me, he couldn't wait. I went in there, the deer came in, and he's like, "Well, I guess I'll let you shoot a deer." So what I did is I forgot to put a pellet in, and I shot air at the deer.
Oh, no.
Yes. And he's like, "Yep, see, I told you couldn't do it." And then I went back. Yeah, I went back without him. He told me I could. I wasn't trespassing or anything. I went back without him and sat and waited for the pigs to come in. And so the next time I shot a pig, and I was probably pretty nervous. It was probably my 3rd time ever killing a pig. And I had the hammer. I shot him in the fat part of the back of the neck. I didn't get him. He ran off. And I even posted a video of the shot. And I said, "Y'all think I got him?" And everybody's like, "Nope, that's a gone one." And I didn't think he'd ever come back. And he came back a couple weeks later, and I got him. And he was over 300 pounds. That was a big pig.
Holy cow.
That was a big pig. And the guy was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you killed a pig with a BB gun."
It's a big BB.
Yeah. And just showing people the lead, they're just in shock. Absolutely in shock.
Now, just out of curiosity, what bullet were you using?
The 320 grain Nielsen specialty ammo slug.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the TC-45, I was shooting 510 grain Hunter Supply slugs. Those were huge. Yeah, those were big ones.
Wow.
I thought for sure the first time I asked you that question, you were going to say Air Force Texan. I was not expecting the hammer to be your weapon du jour.
Well, the reason I like the hammer is I like the multi-shot. capabilities. I like being able to take a follow-up shot because I don't care. This is one of the reasons why I love hunting. It is absolutely unpredictable. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. Some animals seem to have a stronger will to live than others. Some require a follow-up shot. Some of them, you shoot them in a place that you think that shouldn't have killed them, but it did. So it's just a huge adventure. But having the multi-shot follow-up shot with the hammer is great. I've had 3 shots with the long hammer. I mean, within like 2 inches at 50 yards. And then the 4th shot's just about 1/2 inch low. So, I mean, you can't really, with a multi-shot big bore, you don't get much better than that.
No.
Not a 50 caliber. Yeah. So something that's reliable. Like I always say, success breeds confidence. And I've had so much success with a hammer. It's just a rifle that I'm confident will do the job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt. So how soon is the time going to arrive that Angie hangs the carbine up and puts the regular long hammer back in the stable?
Well, I have to get another long hammer because the barrel, I guess I shot it so much that it needed a new barrel. I sent it back in. They sent me the carbine instead. So I'll have to maybe give them a call and be like,
tell them this barrel is shot out. I don't know what's going on. I think I need a long hammer again.
Yeah. That's the plan.
Excellent. Now, Angie, you had quite a stage before. You were in front of a lot of air gunners in the not too distant past. We got to see you quite a bit. And I just learned that your channel has actually been around for a long time. Your channel's like, what, 6, 7 years old?
Yes. That's actually where I started when Rick approached me, and my videos weren't good enough for prime time yet. So I kind of practiced on backyard shooting and posted my early, very, very first, oh my gosh, horrible videos on there. I go back and look at them like, wow, I was such a dork. I still am, but they are a lot better. I've learned a lot since then. So I started there, and then as soon as my videos got a little bit better, Rick moved me to some different channels. I've got videos on Airgun Pro Shop, Airgun Web, the Gateway to Airguns. That's probably where some of my best ones are, on the Gateway to Airguns. And now I'm doing my own thing on backyard shooting. And
excellent.
It's like not just airguns, firearms. I've been delving into archery a little bit too. So just kind of the whole shooting realm.
Now, how do you deal with the rather obvious dislike that YouTube has for outdoor content with anything that has a weapon in it? How do you manage that?
I really don't know. I don't know a whole lot about. I was on a meeting today with a fellow that was trying to help me with my YouTube channel, and honestly, a lot of what he said was just, I don't know a lot about it. I post videos and hope and pray that it does well. That's about it.
So, one of the, from one YouTuber to another, when Pat and I do a podcast, it's actually a really good opportunity normally for us to get good advertising coverage from YouTube. And we would, one of the channels is monetized and could actually generate some cash. But all of the 2024 season, we had a ad that we ran in the podcast that said that we had an affiliate arrangement with Airgun Depot, Cabela's, and Bass Pro. Just because of that ad, they shut off all of our monetization because Cabela's and Bass Pro sell guns.
Yep.
And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? That's where this has come. Just because
I'm not even at the point to where I make enough money to really even worry about monetizing my videos yet. I mean, I get $13 or something a month right now. It's like I make more from if I put a link to a sponsor in my videos than I do from YouTube. So
I agree. I mean, definitely the affiliate game is way better, but it ticked me off that YouTube, as big as they are, couldn't figure out a way to align creators with advertisers that were friendly to their content.
And there's a bunch of them that would be. I mean, the outdoors it's a huge industry.
I am sure that Airguns of Arizona, Utah Airguns, every brick and mortar in the U.S., any big outdoor company, Shields, Cabela's, Bass Pro, would be falling over themselves to get advertising space, to pay for advertising space. So to me, it's.
But you don't see any of that ever. None of that.
Because to me, it's more about YouTube trying to control the content that they were willing to monetize and support as a statement based on their own beliefs or lack thereof. But that's just me getting political now, and I'll stop. I'll put my soapbox away. But I wondered how you were dealing with that. So if we want to see Airgun Angie nowadays, we got to go to Backyard Shooting AA. How did you end up with that name?
Well, it was already backyard shooting, but whenever I would type it into the search engine to just backyard shooting, it came up with a bunch of irrelevant stuff, like a shooting in someone's backyard, or just it didn't pull my channel up. So I had to kind of personalize it a little bit. So I added the AA. But Rick named it. I didn't name the channel originally. It was nice of him to give it to me.
That's fun. So for anybody who's listening or watching this, if you want to find Angie on YouTube, the best way is use the @ symbol and then type it just like you see it on the screen right now, backyard_shooting AA. And that will literally take you directly to her channel. You'll be able to see her wonderfully prepared trailer and then hit the subscribe and the notification and get all that good stuff. And you'll get tuned into some really good airgun content brought to you by Airgun Angie.
Thank you.
Now, Airgun Angie, you said the first time you and I met was at a Airgun event, the Headshots Invitational. And then did you go to the next one?
The Ancient City one? No, I didn't. I went to the Georgia Boys one, the Frank Coffey Memorial Shoot.
And that was just this weekend. So you're coming fresh from the game here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the contest? I know you had some. I
just got my emotions together before the show. I've been crying all. It was honestly terrible. The best thing about the shoot so far was the people. I mean, just being around other air gunners is worth it. I mean, worth every loss. But so I brought my FX Dynamic 600 and 30 cal. My mind, like you said earlier, I want to kick the wind. I'm not concerned about. I want to kick the wind. 177. I'm not a fan of 177. I hate those tiny little pellets. I hate them.
I hear you.
But you've got a point with the aperture and everything there. That's a good point. But still, I went with the 30. I had the basic scope that I always use. Hawk Vantage was not meant for long distance precision shooting. It didn't have enough adjustment. And the very first target for the PRS was 200 yards. So
it was kind of trial by fire. Like, literally, I got my pellet gun and you want me to go to 200 yards with a scope that doesn't do that. Okay. That sets the stage.
Yeah, I showed up, I guess, set up for failure. But I told the guys that was in the same lane, and I don't have all the lingo yet for the competition, how with lanes, teams, whatever they are. I told them, I said, well, my scope doesn't adjust to that. And I had already turned it and tried to adjust it most that I could, and I couldn't, and I messed it up right there. So I guesstimated I was shooting the tree line that was probably 100 yards behind the target. I was probably, after it was all over, I hit one target. I got so tired of hearing miss, miss, miss. I was just ready to put the gun down and say whatever. But after that was over, I went to the little test target thing and I shot it, and I was a foot high at 50 yards. Yes, a foot high at 50 yards. And I was like, well, no wonder I wasn't hitting anything. I don't know how I hit one target. I have no idea how I hit one target. So I really,
what gun were you using at this event?
The FX Dynamic 630 cal.
Dang,
It's
you actually had a pretty good gun for that event.
But it was the shooter. Had nothing to do with the gun.
I don't think it was the shooter. I think it was the preparation. I think had you had a little bit more time to game and practice, you would have been a lot happier with your result. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, and I probably maybe needed a coach. I think I needed a coach. That would have been a huge help because I like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. Long distance precision shooting, I'm completely lost. So it would have been a lot better. But I told Adam Adams if I do this again, and he keeps telling me when. I'll definitely get set up with a different scope and find a slug that the FX likes. The ones that I have a few different slugs, but I was getting way better groups at 75 yards with the pellets than I was the slugs. So I said, well, we'll just go with what we got. Because I didn't have time to order more and find more. So
yeah, I hear you. I've been there. Pat and I both have paid that price. Bled on that sword ourselves. So I hear what you're going through, but we go to these events and we learn and we hopefully come back better shooters one day. So we are going to be rooting for Airgun Angie to kick our butts the next time we see you at an event.
Can I use your gun?
Yes. The answer to that is always yes. It would be easier if you're on my squad. That would make it have to travel less between shooters. But absolutely.
And I look forward to the next one. I don't know when or where the next one is, but I know PA Cup's coming up and there's Rocky Mountain Airgun Challenge, but I don't know that I'll be going to either of those. I'd rather kind of just practice with some smaller ones for now. Learn the ropes.
Do you have a place where you can get out to 100 yards or more with your airguns? Yeah. Yep.
I've got access to the local range here. I mean, day or night. So it's a nice one. So
excellent.
I do. I write, I do the video reviews. I stay busy all the time. So I'm just like everybody else. Like I was telling Pat in the beginning, it's almost like everybody has to be busy. It's almost like a passage to life right now.
Yeah, generally, if you want to eat, it's a good thing to be busy because hopefully somebody's paying you for that busyness.
Right.
I'm not independently or dependently wealthy yet, so
we're working on it. Yeah.
I'd be okay with dependently wealthy. I'm all right.
Here. Yeah. I'm not going to tell Bonnie to go get a job, though.
No.
That would be bad.
Well, that would be a career limiting decision on your part.
Yeah.
She'd tell you to get one too.
Oh, there'd be life insurance, and that'd be it. No. Go find a gator. Go pet it. Yeah.
So Angie, have you ever shot a field target?
No.
You've got some really good clubs very close to you. And I mean, one of the best shooters in the U.S. is just right in North Carolina. He's not far away, although that's quite a bit north for you because you're down in the southern edge of South Carolina, right?
Right.
But you've got some really good airgun clubs out there for field target. Philip Hepler is the only back-to-back repeat airgun champion in field target, which he got because of COVID. But
I called them the longest reigning champion, and he argued with me with where wasn't a competition for, I forget what year it was, 2022, and I'm like, so you're still the longest reigning champion. You still held the title for the year. He goes, all right, I'll give you that. But I go, it's default or not by default, you're still a winner. And he begrudgingly took it, but whatever.
He's a very humble man.
Very humble.
I'll tell you what, if you wanted to learn how to be a much better field target shooter and learn getting the dope on a scope at a level that most people don't take it to. He's your guy, and his wife, because it's funny because his wife is also a leading competitor in field target, and in fact, she's gotten right up there on the podium with him.
Oh yeah, this is Deadeye.
Yes, because he goes by the name Deadeye, and she's Lady Deadeye.
Lady Deadeye, yeah.
Yeah, it's hysterical, but they are both really, really good shooters, and
they make you a better hunter too. Field target.
Oh yeah. And what I like about field target is it's really 55 yards is the most you're going to go. So I've got a pseudo field target range here on my property, and I can go out and shoot from 10 to 55 yards and get that practice. And in fact, if I'm going to shoot a match, I'm usually out there twice a day for 2 weeks before the match, just so that everything is as natural as it can be. You know, sitting on that bucket, getting comfortable with the gun, going through that mantra in my head over and over again, kind of getting that. It's almost meditative, you know, where I know the mantra, I'm saying it, I'm like, okay, pellets in the breech. All right, close the breech. All right, relax. Watch the breathing, and then get dialed in, and then take that shot. I'm running through that over and over again several times a day during 2 different periods, and it's drilled in my head at that point.
It's like muscle memory then.
It is. And then Pat and I have talked about the zombie drill, because the stations that I always suffered at for field target were the kneeling, because I have arthritis on top of a bunch of old motorcycle injuries, and for me to get in the kneeling position is meaningfully painful. So if I start stretching before a match, I'm okay. I can do it. But the standing shots, I was terrible. I think I shot my first 2 seasons of field target and missed every single standing shot. And I was like, man, I am terrible at this. And then we talked about it on a previous podcast. I started this drill where I put a target at 25 yards. And I would give myself 10 pellets on the bench, and I would keep track of those exact 10 pellets. I would say, how did I do? Got my notebook right there. And I would not let myself stop practicing until I hit 70%, until my hit rate was 70%. And then I would take a break. I'd let the blood go back into my arms and let, all the muscles relax again. And then I would do it again. And I just kept repeating that over and over again. And you learn that, because nobody is a perfectly still shooter, right? Everybody's got that wobble. And if you get that figure 8 kind of pattern, which is natural, it's where you're going to settle. And then once you get that time to fire, and that, unfortunately, what happens to some people is they develop a jerk on that trigger that is not going to help them. But again, it's more of a Zen thing, that you're going to know when the right time to break that shot is, and your brain will do the work if you let it. If you try to get in front of yourself, it's not going to happen. So I would use that drill as a way of training my brain to know when to let that shot go. And it really turned it around. Right after Pat and I talked about that, my very next match, I went 100%.
Oh, wow.
On the standing shot. So I was like, holy crap, this is legit. This is real. You can actually become a better shooter, even if you're an old fool like me. And then you shoot against somebody like Pat, who doesn't do any of the preparation, doesn't do any of the work. He just comes out there, just instinctive as all get out. And he's like freaking Annie Oakley out there. He doesn't look like Annie Oakley, but he shoots.
I shoot iguanas for a living. Offhand. Yeah. That's what I'm going to say. Iguana hunting will help your field target game. Practice your offhand, Angie. You will need it for the boat.
Yeah. and guess who doesn't shoot offhand when he goes iguana hunting with Pat? I've got my sticks, and I'm lethal to iguanas if I've got my shooting sticks.
I'm rolling around on the ground doing going over fences, and he's a boomer back there with sticks, so you don't fall over. But he can fillet a head at 50 yards with his crown. I'll give him that. But the follow-up shot is always me, you know.
I think it's cool that, you know, I mean, not everybody's going to be a great offhander. And if you're out there trying to take shots at an iguana or live animal and you know you're not a great offhander and you're still doing it, I don't see that as being good at all. If you know you need sticks and you're willing to use them, I think that's good. I mean, you're going to do what you can to take that animal down with the best shot, the first shot. So.
He's the long-range guy. The artillery rounds. Mm-hmm. I'm sneaking in close combat. I chased him out of the bush. I'm the dog ring. See me running. You know,
sometimes I'd say, I mean, I've done a lot of offhand shooting. I don't use sticks when I shoot squirrels, and when I go shoot iguanas and stuff, I don't use sticks. But some days, and it's the same with driving, maybe it's the same with everything. Some days I feel like I do better than others. Like some days I'm just completely off my game with shooting offhand, with shooting in general. Some days I'm completely off my game with driving. I'm like, sorry, my bad. That was me. I don't know.
Maybe I should have stayed home today or bought a Tesla that could have driven me.
Correct.
No, thank you. That's kind of scary.
Well, I'll tell you, I've seen some drivers out here in California that I might do a GoFundMe or something to buy them a self-driving car because they're bad. I mean,
you've got a point. You do have. I mean, we do have the what are those things called on the sides of the roads, on the lanes?
Rumble strips?
Yes, rumble strips. We have them now on both sides so that people can text and drive. That's why they have them. It's permission to text and drive.
Yeah,
lane control on my car. No,
and that's permission too. Go ahead, text and drive. We got you.
Braille as a driving method doesn't strike me as being really successful. I just don't think Braille is the way to go about this.
I don't think so either.
No.
I think I was in Alabama. There was parts in Alabama they don't have the rumble strips on both sides, and I was like, oh, they're holding people accountable. This is great.
That's called the ditch. Oh, Billy's gone. He was on the phone too long. Don't have to worry about him. Cheers.
Yeah.
So I think Pat and I actually have a meeting later this week with a guy who's putting on a big event, and we'll have more details on this forthcoming. But rumor is that there's going to be a big event on the East Coast in the Northeast this fall. So we're going to learn more about that later this week, and we'll have that in the next episode of the Airgun Geeks, unless Pat decides to leak it out on the socials before then.
Is it a competition?
No, I'll make everyone wait.
Huge competition.
Huge.
I don't have confirmation, but I've heard through the grapevine that $50,000 in prizes for this event.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's no joke.
50,000 pounds of cow manure?
Yeah, that's it, Pat.
Corn.
No, it's not going to be in Ohio, Pat. They don't give away manure like they do in Ohio. This is going to be in Massachusetts on the East Coast. It's proper cash.
Friendly state.
Proper cash, yeah.
It's not. If those that don't know that. It's big. I can't wait to find out all the details. And then
I'm curious now. I've heard something a few months ago, but it probably isn't the same thing.
We like to create FOMO here on the Airgun Geeks podcast. So.
Oh yeah, yep. And your Airgun Geeks have also been reached out to by the Raging Cajun, who runs the Kinjun Classic, which is a Grand Prix level field target event. So
huge. It's like RMAC, Angie.
Yeah, for the field target world, it's a high level event. In fact, you have to in order to go to the champions, the U.S. championships, you have to have competed and done well in at least one Grand Prix. They would prefer if you did a couple of them to get a seat at the big table. But it's kind of their local event, but on a much higher level. It's usually a 2-day shoot. So your score is going to be an aggregate of all of your days there. It's one of the few times I actually have pistol field target, which for me, that's my game. I was a pistol shooter for a long time. These rifle things I really have to work at, but pistols are very natural to me. But yeah, we're excited to talk to them more about that. They've asked for perhaps an Airgun Geeks presence at that event, which could be a heck of a lot of fun.
Sweet.
If it's in the cards financially for us, we'll have to see. But yeah, we've got there's some fun stuff coming up in the airgun world, and we're going to be a part of it, and hopefully we're going to be there with Angie, and she is going to blaze the path for us to airgun greatness.
That is an event to just go to, even though you're not shooting. It's like the RMAC of the field target.
Yeah, see, I think I'm not real into the competitive side of shooting. I mean, the best thing about going to the ones that I've been to so far are being around the people. I mean, really. I mean, maybe I'd say different if I actually won something.
Well, Angie, you having been a guest here on the Airgun Geeks podcast, you are officially knighted an Airgun Geek, and you can participate in the only two rules that matter for competitive airgunning. There's only 2 rules. And
see if I can remember them.
You've already talked about them. It's really, really easy. Tell them, Pat.
The first one is have fun. Did you have fun in Georgia?
I did.
Now, I don't know the answer to this one, but don't be last.
Oh.
Those are the 2 rules.
I was last. I was last. I promise you.
But that's okay, because that means there's room for improvement.
Correct.
You've set the bar at a place where you know you can get better.
That's what I told him when I was there. It's only up from here, guys.
Yeah.
You can't
That's
go any
what Bill
lower.
says all the time. I'm always waving to him because he's always below me on the rankings. Just saying.
No, it's fun. Did you see some of the target props they had out there for the PRS?
I did not. I only saw rankings, and then I saw pictures of the benches and a little bit of shooting and some goofing off. But I didn't see any targets yet.
Well, they had the props they had to prop up on was a stove, toilet, coolers, and the stove was like stovetop stuffing. That's what they called it. The coolers was hold my beer. Then there was the toilet was can I say 4-letter words on here?
Yes.
The toilet was shoot to shit. And then there was the tractor. I don't remember what it was called. Something about
wasn't
corn.
it a washing machine?
Nope, that was the stove.
That was the stove. Okay.
Yep. And then they just had a regular table, a shooting bench. That was the 200-yard iguana that I messed everything up on. But it was pretty creative, very country, very Georgia boys. It was a lot of fun.
Now that was put on by Scotty, right?
Right.
Yeah, Scotty, 912 Airguns. If I remember that right. Yeah, 912. Yeah, 912.
And he was also the guy who won first place at the Ancient City shoot. So
yes,
he, I have to say, I've been trying to copy him in his slug gun setup. So I'm basically mimicking what he's shooting. So it's 800 millimeter, 1-in-16 twist liner, FX tension barrel system, shooting dead lead airs, 70 grain inviscerator slug. So that's exactly the recipe. And I'm told that, if you get in the high 800s, low 900s, that's where the magic happens. You get just the right spin on that projectile to get that laser accurate shot. And the slug is so well balanced at 70 grains that it's going to be your tool against the wind and the distance. So, if you're going to copy somebody, copy the guy that took first place, right?
Yeah. I'd never heard of those slugs before. He showed me the tin. I was like, those look kind of cool.
Yeah. They are, they're made by a young couple in Oregon. Jason and his wife Christine are they've been guests on the podcast. We interviewed them at RMAC last year, and she was actually a veteran 10-meter shooter. So this is, the kids that these two are going to create are going to be world-class shooters, I think, because Jason loves the long slug game. Yeah. And he came from a oil rig engineering background, and then now all he does is create the best slugs that he can, and they do serious quality control.
And you don't have to size anything, weigh anything. He does all of that already. Just grab them, stick them in, shoot.
Yeah, you just take them out of the tin. And then he's come out with a really neat, unique product that is meant to, I mean, slugs are expensive. I mean, they're not as cheap as pellets. They're not as prevalent. They're not as produced in the same quantity. But what Jason did was he came out with a product that is so when you clean a slug barrel, very often it doesn't shoot to the same accuracy again for a while. You got to let in that barrel. And he makes a much less expensive product to chamber and put through that gun to get the lead back in without using the really good precision formed slugs.
Wow.
So I'm like, well, that's somebody that cares about us consumers and is giving us a tool to get us back on target again. So kudos to the entire Dead Letter team.
Saving time as well. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Now they do make in 30 cal, they do make a 50 grain. And I would say if you're 50 yards or in, it's going to be a lethal tool. It's pretty good. Not as accurate in my gun, in the original build, with a true pellet liner. The regular FX slugs did better in that barrel, the 44 grain. But the 50 grain eviscerator is nearly as good as that and a lot less expensive. So, it's a great choice if you're going after game that is a little closer in. But if you want to really stretch it out, 100, 200, 300 yards, that 70 grain eviscerator is where it's at. And I'm sure Scotty did he shoot the event with you?
He did.
How did he do?
I don't remember. I think he placed second or third, and he did well.
He was right at the top.
Yeah. And he probably had a lot going on and a lot on his mind that probably took him, because when you go to compete, it's a very different mindset.
Well, he messed up on the 200-yard iguana as well. He he forgot to turn his dial scope back down, so he was shooting high, and he hit it. Yeah, he hit it one time, but then he missed it. We had 4 shots at it. He hit it once, so he was definitely kicking himself for that. But he did really well. Other than that,
wow.
That's all before the competition, I told Adam Adams, I said, I feel like I'm not prepared in my mind to be able to deal with the scope like I need to. And I definitely proved that.
Yeah.
It's definitely
a lot of learning. Yeah.
Yeah. That practice and preparation really will make you a much more comfortable competitor in the future. But now that's been drilled in your head in a way that lesson will never need to be relearned, unless you're me, and then you'd have to do it 3 or 4 times before you finally get the message that, hey, dummy, go shoot some more.
I don't want to walk away the biggest loser again.
oh my gosh. No, you showed up, so that gives you a leg up on all the people who didn't make it out. And if there is an Airgun event in your area, this goes out to all of our followers, all of our listeners, all of our viewers. Go out and shoot it if you want to. Don't be afraid. Some of us have really bad days. Angie and I have really, really bad days sometimes, and we still love this. We still love this game, and we still get out there. And I have shot with guys. It was their first event that they've ever been to, and they were solid competitors. So blow the dust off that air gun, get out there, and learn what you need to do to become a better shooter. You'll have a great time. You'll be around people that are really, really cool to hang out with. And, they're the kind of people that would lend you a gun and say, hey, here you go, shoot this.
I could, when I was shooting and I was missing, I could just feel the guys, it was like their heart was breaking for me. It was really great. I mean, not that I wanted them to be sad or anything, but I knew that they were like, oh man, I wish that she did better. I wish that, they wanted me to do better just as much as I did. So it was a really good experience in that sense.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, Angie, we are looking forward to seeing you out in the competition circuit some more. We're looking forward to some really killer content. We're looking forward to reading your article coming out in Airgun Hobbyist. And anything else you've got coming up that you want to talk about before we close out this episode?
I'm really thinking about, I know that I do a lot of ladies stuff, coordinating ladies events, ladies hunts and things like that, and going to these competitions. It'd be kind of cool to have a ladies shooting team. And there's a lot of fellas that show up and not very many ladies. So I think it would be kind of cool to do something like that.
I think you should work on some of your sponsors and say, hey, I need a little assistance here, getting some jerseys and putting together a ladies shooting team, because I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I think it'd be
great. Bill and I are always pushing for more women shooters and younger shooters too.
Because I hate looking at Pat when I'm shooting, right?
Yeah, well, I look good in a dress. I try to. Maybe I should. Maybe that might be a. No, we'll leave that for another time.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
Save that for your OnlyFans channel, Pat.
Oh well, we should. Well, that's in the credits at the end. How do you think we pay for this podcast?
Got it.
Do you know how much it costs to get Angie on? No.
Way too much.
Angie, thank you very much for joining us here on the Airgun Geeks.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
It's been delightful.
All right. Well, we're going to put you back in the green room so you can powder your nose. Sorry. And we're glad to have you out.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Well, Bill, that was exciting.
Yes, it was.
I want to remind everyone to give us 5 stars if you like the podcast here on the Airgun Geeks podcast on Apple. Leave a comment, 5 stars. Check us out on Spotify. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you check out the YouTube channel, Airgun Geeks Podcast. Check out Target Forge. And Bill's other fun one, the DIY Maker. All very, very fun, informative channels. They cover 3 different, we'll call them genres. There's so much going on. I'm so excited. I can't believe we got Airgun Angie on. I'm still so floored.
I know it.
Because
hey, Pat, before I forget, we've had a landmark product come out for the airgun shooter for getting really, really dry air for your air gun.
Yes.
And check out my video on both the Airgun Geeks channel and on Target Forge. You can pick one or the other or watch both. That would be great.
Correct.
I will say I cheated. It's the same video, but it is a really great solution that I got to be part of creating with GX compressors. That involved a flight to Germany and a white paper and all of that fun stuff. But it is a very, very solid physics-based tool for delivering super dry air for your precious air gun and avoiding having all of that junk end up in your gun. So do check that out, and do please use my links to get that, because that helps support the work that we do both here on the podcast and on the Target Forge channel and all of the other stuff that we're involved with. So do check that out if you get a chance.
Definitely. All right, Bill. Any final words for the viewers and listeners?
Nope. Be good. May your pellets fly straight, and have a good time.
And like always, stay geeky.